very serious attacks on Indian interests, and we have every reason to doubt whether this is going to be something that India will be able to stand in the long term. Number one, there's going to be now a base for very hostile Pakistan-backed terrorist elements frankly targeting us. And secondly, potentially a larger recruitment base as well, a source of fighters who could come and attack us. So for all of these reasons, we'll have to watch the situation incredibly carefully. On the bigger picture, there is the fact that the Chinese appear to be talking to the Taliban. And the Chinese already are very closely embedded in Pakistan with their $90 billion investment under the CPEC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, the biggest part of their BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. So in these circumstances, if they manage to tell the Taliban, you don't muck about with our interests in Pakistan and you try and help us to keep the Uyghur Muslims at bay, and in turn we'll give you lots of money and look after you, the Taliban may well play along with China. Then a China-Pakistan-Afghanistan axis with Russia potentially remaining neutral is extremely serious for all of us. And I think we should be extremely concerned and we should be pulling out our best diplomatic brains to do the best we can do to ensure that our interests are not completely overlooked in the course of this mess.
Dr. Tharoor, we have investment over there in Afghanistan.
We have spent over $2 billion in taxpayers' money, $2.3 billion.
So what's the way ahead to protect that and to deal with Taliban for our own interests?
No, we will not be able to protect our investments because these were investments we made for the Afghan people anyway. The Zararam Highway, 24/7 electricity in Kabul, lots of maternal and child health hospitals and schools, the Salma Dam, the Afghan Parliament building. These we have invested in a view of trying to help the Afghans create the institutional trappings to deepen their own control over their own destiny. But unfortunately now that destiny has been subverted. It's gone into the hands of the Taliban. And in those circumstances, don't think that we can control or protect these investments. These investments now belong to the Taliban-controlled government. But will they show any goodwill to us for that? That I don't know. And if they do show us goodwill, will they be prepared to at least turn neutral towards us, or will they actually still see that we are some sort of infidel state under which jihadi actions are legitimized? It remains to be seen. We had a terrible time in the 5 years they were in power earlier. Will it be better after 20 years? Remains to be seen. Pakistan, as you know, Prime Minister Imran Khan has already said that he congratulated them on breaking the shackles of slavery. What I don't understand. The only cautionary note I would give to our Pakistani friends is that they should understand that in the past, there have been plenty of examples where Frankenstein has made a monster and the monster has escaped Frankenstein's control. So merely because Pakistan created the Taliban in the mid-90s doesn't mean that the Taliban will be entirely always faithful to them. There will be some elements in the Taliban who will consider the present Pakistani regime, even though they have sponsored and supported them, to be insufficiently Islamist for their taste. And it could well be that they'll join those in Pakistan who want to change the regime in Pakistan too. So I am not sure that the Pakistanis should be 100% happy that these guys have come to power, because not everybody who's come to power is necessarily going to be pro-Pakistan. Yes, many are. Many of them actually had refuge in Pakistan. So you had the Quetta Shura, you had the Miram Shah Shura, because all these different shuras, these different groups of Taliban leaderships were accommodated comfortably by the Pakistanis, even while the Pakistanis were taking money from the Americans to facilitate American logistics in Afghanistan. It was a really cynical game. But still, the situation is incredibly dangerous, certainly for us and potentially also for some elements in Pakistan.
So we have our envoy from Afghanistan, and he ended up saying that everybody will be taken care and the commercial service will be brought back as soon as the things become normal. And we have also, India has launched its all new emergency visa facility for all Afghans can apply, no religion-based priority. How do you look at the decision made by the Indian government?
Look, it's difficult to criticize the government for evacuating Indian personnel, because that is our first duty, is the security and well-being of our own people. I've spoken to both the foreign minister and the foreign secretary. There are a number of cases that I have brought to their attention of Afghans often already holding visas who have been unable to get on planes once the commercial flights were suspended. They are telling me that commercial flights may be resumed, that the Americans who are controlling the airport right now have conveyed the message that commercial flights may be possible to resume fairly soon with the cooperation of the Taliban. So if the Afghan Taliban government allows commercial flights without firing on them, and the Americans or whoever the NATO forces are, Americans and Turks mainly, controlling the airport are able to facilitate and assure safe passage for aircraft, then I'm hoping that even Air India will resume its flights. Air India, as you know, their last possible flight was suspended. They never took off from Delhi, and the evacuation was done on Indian Air Force aircraft. But I would say that if Air India can resume flights, then many of these Afghans who already have connections to India, have visas to India, have relationships in India, have worked for India, and have good things that we approve of, plus some Afghans who only want to come to India temporarily while their longer applications for Europe or America are being processed, all these people should be able to come. And I certainly hope that India, keeping up with its very fine millennial traditions of granting refuge to the persecuted, that India will maintain this record and will not impede these people coming. I remember with great pride Swami Vivekananda saying in Chicago, we are a nation that has given a refuge to the persecuted of all religions and faiths and of all nations. Let us live up to that standard today.